Welcome, everyone. In utility-scale solar, there is a dangerous assumption that passing conventional handover testing means a plant is healthy. The reality is stark. Standard compliance testing leaves up to 4.46% of fleet capacity completely unaccounted for on day one. On paper, arrays pass all 14 standard checklist tests. In reality, undetected contact resistance, cell microcracks, and insulation faults are already generating invisible hotspots and laying the groundwork for catastrophic fires. Today, we're breaking down why the traditional commissioning rulebook is broken and outlining the technical testing framework required to ensure true asset safety and performance.
Let's look at the numbers. Across aerial thermography data evaluating over 373 gigawatts of solar capacity, day one commissioning power loss averages 4.46%. Compare that to the 15-year aged fleet average of 5.08%. That means brand new utility-scale plants are being handed over carrying almost the exact same defect burden as assets that have been operating in the field for over a decade. The standard 14 electrical checklist tests are fundamentally failing to detect the most structurally expensive defects before substantial completion. The regulatory and engineering baseline has undergone a complete transformation. Between ANSI/NEDA ECS 2024 introducing dedicated PV commissioning standards, NEDA ATS 2025 integrating solar and BESS directly into substation equipment acceptance, the next edition of NFPA 70E establishing explicit DC arc flash thresholds at 150 volts and 1.2 calories, and the second edition of IEC 62446-1 expanding to utility-scale realities, the mandate is clear. If your commissioning specifications predate February 2025, they are legally and technically obsolete.
One of the most widespread pitfalls in field commissioning is the 1 megohm trap. Standards like IEC 62446-1 specify 1 megohm as a minimum safety threshold. However, a healthy 1500-volt string typically demonstrates an insulation resistance well above 100 megohms. If a string measures 1.5 megohms, it technically passes the minimum code, but in engineering reality, it represents a severe latent defect. Passing code is not the same as passing quality engineering. We must eliminate arbitrary static floors in favor of comparative string-to-string statistical outlier analysis and establish true 30-year operational baselines.
Current voltage curve tracing is far more than a checkbox commissioning deliverable. It is a full physical diagnostic of your array. Deviations in specific regions pinpoint exact failure modes. A sloped upper leg reveals elevated series resistance from loose terminations or bad solder joints. Notches and steps indicate bypass diode failures or module mismatch. A narrow curve signals missing modules or potential induced degradation. Reduced curve height exposes soiling or pyranometer calibration errors, and a sloped lower leg warns of compromised shunt resistance and cracked cells. Not all DC field measurements carry equal analytical weight. Open circuit voltage, or VOC, is our reliable workhorse. It responds logarithmically to irradiance and linearly to temperature. Note that with the industry transitioning from P-type PERC to N-type TOPCon modules, temperature coefficients improve from minus 0.35% down to minus 0.24% per degree Celsius. Failing to update this coefficient will falsely fail good strings in high heat environments. Conversely, short-circuit current, or ISC, is inherently volatile. It inherits pyrometer sensor error directly and is heavily distorted by bifacial albedo variations, making it suitable only as a comparative metric rather than an absolute pass-fail gate. To genuinely safeguard utility-scale assets against failure and fire, 4 critical testing protocols must be elevated from optional recommendations to non-negotiable requirements. First, full load thermography under true operating current to expose thermal runaway early. Second,
Wet insulation testing to catch the critical percentage of dielectric faults invisible in dry conditions. Third, connector cross-mating quality assurance to eliminate dimensional interface mismatches. And fourth, active ground fault baselining to establish insulation resistance references before sub-amp leakage paths cause nuisance inverter tripping.
Cross-mated connectors are among the leading root causes of utility-scale array fires, and they easily fool day one testing. On day one, cross-mated connectors from different manufacturers physically click together and pass continuity, VOC, and insulation tests flawlessly. By year 2, micromillimeter dimensional tolerances create elevated contact resistance, triggering I²R resistive heating and degrading the polymer housing. By year 3, thermal degradation admits moisture, corrosion accelerates exponentially, and an arcing fire occurs. The solution requires strict design QA, enforcing identical connector pairings and infrared thermography under full load. Dielectric integrity in solar arrays suffers from a dangerous dry environment illusion. Field data reveals that 13.5% of field-aged crystalline modules completely pass standard dry insulation resistance testing, yet immediately fail under wet conditions. As shown here, median resistance drops by approximately 110 times, plunging from over 42 gigaohms down to 462 megaohms when exposed to moisture. In operations, this manifests as unexplained early morning ground faults during humid or foggy conditions, accelerating PID and conductor corrosion long before a total fault registers. Oversimplifying DC arc flash calculations creates a severe, unmanaged safety hazard. Standard maximum power assumptions treat the DC array as an unbounded power source, calculating incident energies exceeding 40 calories per centimeter squared, and mandating Category 4 blast suits. However, physics-based NREL research shows solar arrays are strictly current-limited sources, operating at arc voltages between 10% and 40% of VMP. In practice, a theoretical 26.7 kilowatt fault only delivers around 3.7 kilowatts of arc energy. Forcing technicians into heavy, multi-layer suits in triple-digit desert heat trades an exaggerated electrical hazard for very real, acute heat exhaustion. A major driver of multi-million-dollar handover disputes is the conflation of contractual testing regimes. Capacity testing evaluates whether the physical plant can generate nameplate power under normalized reference conditions and belongs strictly in the EPC substantial completion scope. Performance ratio measures multivariable system efficiency over time, including external environmental factors, and belongs in the long-term O&M agreement. Availability testing isolates operational uptime alone. Mixing capacity with PR during handover creates unnecessary gridlock and legal exposure.
Modern utility solar systems frequently feature high DC to AC ratios, resulting in pronounced midday inverter clipping. Legacy regression models, such as standard ASTM E2848, assume unconstrained operation and mathematically distort fitted capacity results when clipping truncates peak generation data. Contracts must explicitly adopt updated frameworks like IEC TS 61724-2 2025 edition, defining precise procedures for data filtering, irradiance thresholds, and measurement uncertainty bounds, rather than relying on ambiguous legacy standards.
Synthesizing real-world asset failures reveals a clear pattern. 4% power deficits frequently trace back to outlier blocks that passed static 1 megaohm floors, which could have been identified using string-level statistical comparisons and thermography. Handover disputes consistently stem from using unadjusted ASTM models on highly clipped systems, and catastrophic array fires inevitably occur after cross-mated connectors pass day one electrical tests. In every instance, conventional compliance gave a false sense of security, where advanced commissioning would have resolved the risk. At Keentel Engineering, we believe commissioning should be your most powerful risk mitigation tool, not a bureaucratic checkbox exercise. From owner's engineering and commissioning package audits to comprehensive NERC reliability compliance, advanced EMT/PSCAD power system studies, and complex performance dispute resolution, our goal is simple: turning test data into long-term operational resilience and bankable asset certainty. Thank you. At Keentel Engineering, we believe commissioning should be your most powerful risk mitigation tool, not a bureaucratic checkbox exercise. From owner's engineering and commissioning package audits to comprehensive NERC reliability compliance, advanced EMT PSCAD power system studies, and complex performance dispute resolution, our goal is simple: turning test data into long-term operational resilience and bankable asset certainty. Thank you.